Last time on the Great Ace Attorney 2.
There was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scottish Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph.
Oh, for a minute, I thought you were like, it makes total sense. I thought you were like putting the gears together.
Unless it was Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Wait.
Strongheart.
Strongheart.
Senator Armstrong enters the battlefield.
Senator Armstrong. You can't make an omelet without
Senator
breaking a few
Armstrong
eggs.
walks up with red hair. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him,
Go away.
If you are really a detective, show us the proof. But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. You mean official police inspector's identification?
If you could call that piece of paper with the crayon badge, then yes, I suppose it was official. But no, it looked like a child had done this.
So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park.
With a ravenous dog.
It was Peppino on a lead.
Oh, God. I said, hey, Peppino, you see this man? He is a spaghetti. Now you know what to do with spaghetti? Now go, sick him.
Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
No Scottish Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. Hold it! That is the boss's, but if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away.
It's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. We never broke down on the stand, did we, Ringo? I never cried like these two.
And now I wish I had to return to Italia.
Oh, now the other one started now. It's people like these two what gives us a bad name.
The truth is, we took him prisoner, kept him for the secret hideout. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
He tried to escape, but the capo put the collar on him. And
My dear fellow.
like what he did to me, see?
Monsieur Di Rosso has a little bit of a kink, no?
However you describe it, there's still one glaring inconsistency. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim.
We say this from the beginning.
Peppino is red. The man in the photograph, is he someone different to the man we held captives at night?
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Disillusion Plays The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we play the games and do the voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And special guest appearance by Cole Taylor, unfortunately.
Hello, everybody.
This week.
It's me, Cold Taylor.
That is the voice.
Indeed.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Cold Taylor. Yes, I went to visit my dear friends in London, and we had a wonderful time, and we saw the Final Fantasy Distant Worlds concert.
It wasn't... No,
But while I have left London, it seems that London has not left me, because I
No.
picked up a bug.
It was the Aeolian Symphony concert. Distant Worlds was in Boston.
Yeah.
It was...
That was last year.
It was specific...
Shut up, you
It was
dead.
the one
Yes,
specifically about Final Fantasy 14. So...
and it was a wonderful time.
It
Yes,
was.
it
I'm
was.
I'm just sorry that Taylor has gone home with the London plague. So if you wish to pass on your best wishes to Taylor and get him through this troublesome time, then please consider giving us a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification
And
bell.
why don't you wish him well in the comments below, or not? I mean, it's up to you. I'm sure he'll appreciate any sort of.
That's very
Feedback.
kind. One like is one prayer for Cold Taylor.
Yes. One
like is
one
one
like. One like could spur on his recovery.
Should we get into the flipping
Yeah,
game?
sorry. Look, I'm just rolling with it, okay?
Hold it! Whoa! What? Just before we get into the content, well, such as it is, we do have to take an opportunity to thank Eyebrows 0408, or
Yes.
otherwise known as Zeeg/Eyebrows, for this lovely piece of fan art.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. our good friends Skulking Bruvs and the Red-Headed League.
They have done our boys proud.
You see those, Peppino? These poor gentlemen would make excellent scapegoats for our next masterful crime, don't you think?
See, Capo, yahoo!
Oi, Nash. Oh, Milpot idea was so good they're dressing up as us.
Well, you know, they do say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but I gotta be honest, I don't trust their red hair.
Yeah,
It reminds me of the devil.
Oh, yeah, it's not good, that, Nash.
But no, honestly, it's absolutely smashing. And
Yeah, Peppino's pose is awesome
Yes.
as well.
thank you so much. And also, yeah, so I feel kind of bad because I think you did another
Yeah.
piece a little while ago and we didn't end up putting it into a video, and I don't believe. So anyway, so here it is now. And it is it's Clint Van Ziek's The Bride of the Van Zieks Family.
He
Oh
looked
my
beautiful
gosh.
in his wedding dress.
Yes.
Oh, he looks amazing.
Stunning. It's very good.
And yes, kudos to you for doing your research, as you mentioned on your post as well, like just researching the wedding gowns of the time.
Yes.
Because that just looks stunning.
Yeah.
You could say that our eyebrows were raised with how impressed we were.
Our eyebrows were collectively raised.
Indeed,
yes.
they were.
All 6 of them.
And please do check out all of their other goodies on their Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
On their X.
On their X. Links in the description below.
Yeah.
Links, as always, are in the descriptions below. Thanks, gamers.
Thank you, epic voiceover man.
Epic gamer Makoto Naegi. Anyway, and with that, it's back to the video.
Oh, dear. Let's see. Okay,
Oh yes,
Ryunosuke.
they had Ryunosuke's identification. They had Inspector Gregson.
Ryunosuke's.
This is going well.
I know skatification.
Me mo.
Me mo.
If that's true, how do you explain the inspector's identification?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, Taylor. When you just did that, it doesn't sound like you got a cold. Like, if you'd have not
Thanks.
told anyone, if you'd not said anything, you probably wouldn't have, wouldn't have got into trouble. No one would know. Gasp. No one would
This
be
is
any
a
the
genuine identification book issued by Scottish Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector, unless perhaps they lured him in with a bag of fish and chips. The prosecution made that assertion itself. Oh no.
Had we? Yes, and I have it here in my book. Kasabasaba. Boom, headshot. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day. Which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation.
Oh, yes, that was
It's
it.
gossip. Gossip
Yeah.
has also, again, someone has pointed out that gossip is a reference to the man with the twisted lip, which,
Yes.
I mean, I can see on the one hand.
Yeah.
On the other, when we went to the Sherlock Holmes Museum in
Yes.
London, the man with the twisted lip, it was like twisted inside.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
not
It was like a hair lip.
bulbous and engorged and hanging out from his head.
It wasn't like someone had literally twisted it and elongated it in some way.
My
My
goodness.
goodness.
Yeah.
But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter,
An imposter? That sounds pretty sus.
how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel?
I'm sure I do, but I don't have it yet.
If only we could remember.
The whole thing defies explanation.
It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the code book. This is an error holder.
Are you suggesting that we have a look in the little book of our own? Oh,
Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
Okay.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment
So this is where it's going to be
This will
gossip.
be gossip, yeah.
is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
So, but we can't present profiles though. You can see the mark on his neck just in the image. Because I don't think we've even got a picture of him, have we? No. It's not in the identification. No, okay. I wondered if it would open. Oh, okay. It does open. But yeah, there's no
Yeah, we've already
there's
looked.
no
No.
photograph. It's alright, I'm just having a little quick check. I mean, I guess it's going to be one of those where we advance the text. It'll be like, choose who it is. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Good gracious!
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So, why don't you help us all see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. De Rossi?
Okay, then. An imposter. Amogus.
Amogus.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Though it seems incredible, I admit. The undeniable facts point to only one thing.
I'm sorry for making the Among Us joke, Sarah. I know you hate it, but it seemed like a perfect
I
opportunity.
know.
It was literally right there.
I'll let it slide.
I had to.
Sarah hates Amogus?
She doesn't like the Amogus jokes.
I don't really like the game, to be fair. Oh no, shock horror.
Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson.
In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time?
Objection! On the contrary, I haven't finished.
What?
There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is...
What, Pete?
I just like,
Why?
what?
You what?
Whomstative exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with a dog collar.
Mon Dieu, Peppino! I was not so harsh as you say, huh?
So, who was it? Yahoo! So, who was it that the false person... It's so easy to get tongue-tied. So, who was it that the false inspector? Who was he?
Also, I'm going to also say, I know someone made the comment, oh no, he's meant to be doing a Shoryuken. No, he's not. I don't care. I don't care. Even if that is somebody said, I forget the commenter's name, but he said that it's not actually a reference to Mario. It's actually him performing the Shoryuken, and I guess because they wanted to avoid him being so stereotypically Italian, they attributed it to something other than Mario jumping. I mean, he does do a spin, but he is also a short Italian guy.
It's the same pose. Like, he literally, the way that he holds his arms and legs out and whatnot is practically like the literal Mario jump. I'm sorry, commenter, but you are wrong.
Oh, for God's sake. Let's not start arguments.
I don't care.
I do.
I don't care.
At me in the comments. Or I guess don't at me is what the kids say.
Oh, boy.
Don't at me, but I will fight you.
Don't at me.
Don't look at me. Clearly, the
Come on, Kazuma.
I was trying and you interrupted me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Amateurs. Clearly, the defense
there a
has an
problem?
idea.
Order! Order! For goodness sake, will the defense please shut their howling screamers so that the prosecution can finally say their piece? Thank you.
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that, considering he won't shut up! About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
Guys in the French.
I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector
There we
Gregson?
go.
And there's the opportunity to select.
Gossip.
It's Mr. Big Lips.
The man with the
Ace.
twisted lip.
He's probably gossip.
Take that!
Goodness me! Isn't that?
One of the witnesses who was in the stand this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
A man who can't even seem to decide what voice he wants to have.
Objection! What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses! Is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lip?
Oh, they're not going to suggest that he wasn't like that a minute, like when they met him.
Ah!
See, this man is not for the red-headed league, eh? He's looking for the twisted lip league, no?
Oh!
There it is.
There it is!
There's the reference, yeah.
Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead.
I believe you mean tongue.
You should bite your lip like
You've just ruined the analogy I was
like
going
he did,
for.
repeatedly, over and over again. Until it became like a second tongue.
It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A speckled band. Wait, no. A red ring of bruising. Yeah?
Not the bag of holding, the red ring of bruising.
And it burns, burns, burns. The red ring of bruising. The red ring of bruising. The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand, and that Pete has to remember what voice he used for him.
Pete is starting to sweat again.
Order! Order! Bailiff,
What?
bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom.
What's that?
Immediately! Go fetch him, Buddha!
Right.
Oh. Oh, that's not a shot that you want.
Yeah.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him.
Now, what's going on here, eh? I've decided to change it again. I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, innit?
A birthmark, you say?
I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you.
Aye, something about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong, as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it.
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again.
Oh, bugger.
And you, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you?
Yes, I'm assured.
Do we have any choice?
We are in big trouble, eh, Capo?
It's quite enough dilatory chatter.
Is it dilatory? Dilatory?
I think it's dilatory.
I think dilatory. It makes it.
That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
If you know what dilatory means, tell us in the comments. Ha ha ha!
Why did Mo appear from...
Why the weird that no one will
I
know?
don't know. Guys, I'm sick. I've taken cold medicine. My brain is about like 50% snot. I'm not
Nice.
going to be able to be held accountable for anything I say today. That's the rule.
Oh, no.
Fair enough.
See, I don't like the idea that was like a disclaimer of I have a license to just do whatever the heck I want. You're going to have to try and rein yourself in, Taylor.
No. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man.
Is right to see. You think we would have forgotten these grand lips, huh?
You.
I'll never leave Fresno Street, all right? I've no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? I mean, he has a point. Though perhaps he could be wearing a mask or something. I don't know.
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you, eh? There was no need for this pointless testimony.
That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street is all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but...
A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief.
Uh-oh.
Is there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
No. I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Miss Susato.
At least someone does.
He's just going to make a fool of himself again, isn't he?
Blah, blah, blah.
No, he's not in court today, Taylor.
Well, he is.
Yeah, but
He's
he's not up there.
He's
be
like hanging upside down in the rafters
He'll be
in
sat,
bat form.
sat on a bench, sulking, grumpy at just how terribly this whole thing's going.
Okay, press everything.
What? No, wait!
Hold it! So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never before seen lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar. Mon Dieu. With your words, it is like you tried to wring my neck.
It does look very much like my neck, though, eh? No. This is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they broke the mould when they made me.
I think there was a hole in it, and that's it leaked out the side on his lips.
For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. I'm sorry, and I thought being
I'm not doing an edit for it. It's only Van Zeeks who gets those.
Oh.
It's not because it's supposed to belittle him for being a racist ass.
I mean, true.
That's why he gets them.
So you maintain that you've never seen this man before?
Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
Did you forget his voice for a moment there? He was like,
No.
So, fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now.
No, I just was
Has
like,
it?
I was reading it in a different intonation than I thought it was intended. It's like,
No, it's just amusing.
I'm glad that my sickness amuses you.
Oh, absolutely.
My dear friend of many years.
Sure.
Hold it.
It's hilarious.
Well, Yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
Pack her up, sweetheart.
Oh, yes, it's me. That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair.
Eclair, you big, you swan.
Eclair! You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I'd never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe it's a national trait, huh?
Nationale.
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 Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips. No, lad. I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left. That is the problem, see?
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip?
Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh? I never leave Fresno Street.
Hold it! So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit for a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got a sandwich to cough up for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in my case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No, sir. Not likely.
Oh. Hello. It is me.
I see.
As it happens, after I sold Sandwich that little tidbit about the Red-Headed League, he went and got himself some red paint from somewhere. God knows where, mind. But just between us, he didn't have the gumption to duck his head in it. Alrighty. Yes, we don't care, Gossip. Right.
Let me get out the world's smallest Stradivarius.
And it was somewhere
That
just
bit.
here, yeah. Cha-ching.
Excuse me? Mr. De Rosso. Oui? Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
No.
No.
It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something.
To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes?
I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip? With the housing agent? He had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms.
Yeah, but no. You're mistaken, chum.
Hold on a minute.
I'd never left Fresno
Hold
Street,
on a
me.
minute.
Like I said before.
What?
Is this her husband?
Oh, what thing he says?
Oh, do you know? He's got the hair.
Daily Vigil.
I mean, the hair's similar.
I think it is.
Oh.
I think it's him. He's wearing a cunning disguise.
Interesting.
Huh. Interesting.
And he's got the same collared shirt, too.
You're a college shit. Yeah, I suppose he has. And then the
Well.
picture.
Interessant.
It is interesting.
He's really done himself a number, hasn't he, on his face?
Yes.
Well, he's gotten to be 32. Like me.
Oh, no.
You get it? That's just.
I've never left Fresno Street, me. Like I said before, you've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face.
Interesting.
No, the capo is right. I remember it too. Yahoo! He was paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money.
Oh, I've rumbled
So
it. I've 100% rumbled it.
So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written, Mr. Gossip?
No. This man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact,
Oh, Hugh
his
Boone!
name is Hugh Boone. He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think. See? No! I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed.
And we had something that had Hugh Boone as a name, didn't we?
Yes, the room that we found Gregson in.
Yeah.
It was checked out under the name Hugh Boone.
And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well. I shall respect your wishes, sir.
Your Honor!
No!
The aforementioned name shall be
Oh, for God's sake.
redacted from all court records of this trial,
Assuming no objections, can we please object? Yep.
Objection!
Yep.
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Osogi?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Oh my goodness, my memory! Well, I never. In what capacity?
Hugh Boone,
Hugh Boone.
the name of the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
Let me just take a moment to process that.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, all right. I suppose that might be the case, aye.
So your real name is Hugh Boone?
Nah, mate.
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a fallen down backstreet townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now, there were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. Aye? If neither of us is a vulgar... Wait, if either of us is a vulgar, is not a me.
Think again, Pepina.
Why didn't you bring this up before?
Because I didn't want to.
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned.
Titbit. It's
Yes.
spelled titbit.
Yeah, that's an okay spelling, Taylor. Don't worry. Don't.
Oh, really? That's spelled like T-I-D over here.
Yeah, either one
Either one.
works. So try not to titillate yourself too much. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. I suspect the spelling was changed to avoid, so in case a small child has to spell it and they're not having to say tit.
Or a large child reads it and happens to go tee.
Well, update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
Yeah, all right. If I must.
So the leaseholder Scottish Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along.
I rent the room where that fellow was found. It's true. For what difference it makes.
Yeah, for what difference it makes when he was literally killed in that rented room. Yeah, that doesn't make. Yeah. Hold it! So, you live in that room, presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Because it's my base of operations, you fool. Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
What? What?
And then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to.
Oh, no, that board's not mine.
So let's backtrack for a second. So we know that Daily Vigil basically helped the professor escape, or did something like basically while the professor is being executed. To help him escape, and then the professor was later shot. So something caused a crisis of conscience that caused him to help the professor escape, whereupon he eventually was, shot and then killed later on. Then he disappeared. Well, he didn't disappear, but he'd been lying about what he does to his wife all the time. So, could it be that Mr. Daily Vigil has been leading a double life as gossip to try to get information about the professor case to figure out the truth of all the stuff that happened? And then Gregson, being the good soldier that he is, was sent to try to prevent the cover-up prevent him from finding out anything else. And so he was looking into him, and then he got shoosted.
Maybe. Sounds plausible.
I mean, yeah. When you put it all out, when you lay all the cards out on the table, it does make sense. But I suppose only advancing the text will actually lead us to the truth. So let's advance the text. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that.
I wonder if he'd react if we show him the photograph of Mrs. Vigil.
Well, we can't just present it, though, can we?
No, we'll probably need something to trigger it, but, I'm wondering if, he would react and that's where we'd get an in.
I knew I'd react if I saw a picture of Mrs. Vigil, yes.
Down, boy.
Yes.
Down, boy.
Yep, and there's the no reaction. So I guess he actually wouldn't react.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them.
Except for Sandwich, of course.
Yeah.
What? That's not very kind. Are you trying to pin this on me?
Very nice.
Bluff has already taken everything away from me, you lout.
The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room?
Well, obviously. I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think there's a missing T there.
I think there is. It seems to me that Mr. Mr. Boone would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason.
I mean, I don't want anyone to know about what happens in my room. There's a lot of clothes on the floor.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Yes, it does. No, because I'm too lazy to put them in the laundry hamper. Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man.
My dear fellow.
I'm all alone in this world, and no kinfolk or nothing. But then we show the
present
photo of
picture of Mrs.
Yeah.
Vigor?
Oh, wait,
There we
hang
go.
on, let's press it first. You know what happens in these games.
Well, I was going to just save it, but no, we should do what Sarah says. We'll press it.
Hold it!
You might be right. Sarah's quite often been the underdog who's like, I'm so stupid. And then it's like, boom, here's the answer. Boom, here's the answer. Boom, here's the answer. So
Have you...
You mean you have no family?
we'll do what Sarah says.
I'm just a poor boy.
No, stop it. I am turning myself inside out with these compliments. Stop it.
Boom, got it. It's like, no, not at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us this is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so.
Russian man.
Could you
wants
shut up?
Do you mind peeing on my parade?
You may be right.
Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore.
Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip.
Ew.
It looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof.
All right, you're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Right, now we'll show the picture. It has revealed nothing. But we will just do a little safety save anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I
just
could
to
be dead
sure.
wrong. It's probably a little too early for us to blow the case open like that. But maybe
so
not.
sure. He's got no kinfolk or anything.
Yeah, he
However,
said the desk. He said the desk is like he said the desk.
Oh,
is
was it?
his.
Was that? Was
the
that
picture was-
photo?
it
Oh,
was
yeah,
in there.
duh.
on the desk. Yeah, and he's.
it was
Objection!
it was found on the desk in the room
Yeah,
rented under
and
the
he's
name.
So
just
I
said-
was right. I just forgot the reason why I was right.
Yeah, because like he mentioned that. Yeah, the notice board isn't his, but everything else in that room belonged to him. And why is that picture on the desk then? So he obviously has somebody in his life.
It's like, oh, well, it was just a picture of a lady I took a fancy to. No
That's
real
called
reason.
stalking.
What is it? I mean, if you post if you've got a poster of a lady up on your wall, you're not stalking her, are you?
We might be.
Well, I suppose you might be.
If
but-
you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room.
Oh, it's a bit weird you're breaking out into song there, wasn't it? I can't really see it
I
from
presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Hang on a minute. I can explain.
It's just a spike bike
No, if
materials,
you
what
just-
that is.
I'll tell you what it is. No. I'll tell you what it is. It's like, you know when you buy a new picture frame and it's got photographs already in it? It was the photograph that was already in the picture frame.
stock photo.
That's it. The sample photograph. That's all. That's it. I just
Getty Images didn't exist in Victorian era London.
I liked the photo that was already in the frame, and so I kept it. It kept me going with this horrible lip.
My goodness.
I don't mean it in that way, for God's sake.
Does it not?
Oh, well.
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are.
Oh, the tune.
Oh, there it is.
It's this one. I like this one. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone.
As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case.
Oh, shut up, you.
Rude. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
No, we're not. But we're not trying to imply that, are we?
Objection! How How can you be? Well, again, the thing is, if he is daily vigil, then the lip and the ring are not, well, birthmarks. It's a part of a disguise, which proves that he could very well look like somebody else. How can you be so sure?
Just look at the man!
He's hideous!
No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features!
Objection! But what if we were to look at this the other way round?
Are you okay, Mr. Naruhodo?
What was that?
You seem to have short-circuited.
The other way around. We'll do a mere fay.
What do you mean?
Yes, Counsel. What do you mean?
What do you mean, doop-a-doo? When you say that I was wrong, what do you mean?
Taylor,
Well, there's
are you
no denying that Mr.
You're a bit distracted,
Boons.
Taylor.
He's involving Justin Bieber in all of this. I can't say I'm impressed.
That's how you know I'm sick, because under normal circumstances, I would never, ever, ever sing anything by Justin Bieber.
Oh, I thought for a minute there, I thought you'd say you'd never ever sing, and I'm like, well, that's just blatantly untrue.
Taylor is secretly a belieber.
Oh, Sarah,
Oh,
I'm not sure we can
no.
be friends anymore. Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed.
Oh, that's just rude. Look, I'm very
Well,
self-conscious
there's a
about
possibility
this.
that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise.
Well,
Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Or should I say Daily Vigil?
I can't believe people are trying to say this.
Good witness! Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's the disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be...
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be.
Dick Gumshoe. No, it wouldn't be.
But who could he really be?
No. Because the other joking answer would be Inspector Gregson. No, it's no,
don't
Too
give us
soon.
hope.
Tobias Gregson. No, obviously it's going to be what's his face.
My lord,
Daily Vigil.
Yeah.
the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no.
Too late.
Very well then, Counsel. I do like a good mystery. What is the true identity of this peddler who simply goes by the name of Gossip on the street?
Who Daily
Show.
Iris.
Wow.
You've gone past him.
Oh, Seshiro.
Oh, yes. You could hide that
Seshiro.
absolute unit in that disguise.
Take that! Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. And I'm doing this.
I don't recall that name, Counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes!
Spy boy.
A young gentleman came to the detective, asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men.
And last night you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course.
And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your very hot wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
Now, you just hold on a minute. I don't have a...
What I'm talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
And then,
Oof.
surprise, it doesn't come off.
Yeah, he's gonna keep tugging on his lip.
Oh, that's weird. No! Please!
Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl at once.
I do not get paid nearly enough for this.
Mr. Russo and Mr. De Rossi, you will restrain the witness.
Beg pardon? Oui, my lord.
See, my lord. Oh, I've got... No! Stop! Get off, please! Don't! His hair's changed colour.
Got him.
Oh, there he is.
For a second, the lips.
Wow,
There.
Taylor called it.
What a transformation.
Wow.
He almost looks like a totally different person now.
Yeah.
And his skin's even a different shade than the rest of his body.
Well, they've just washed that bit.
Yeah.
Well, fascinating. We are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Oh, and a quick close change
Where'd he
as
get
well.
the suit
Quickly
from?
got him a suit.
Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. And And I'd also like to congratulate the bailiffs on this bang-up styling job that they've just given him, because, my goodness, what a makeover.
What a
Well,
man.
you're welcome, sir.
This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question.
It's Peppino.
This is the Oh, no,
It's Peppino.
Is it?
Rousseau is French, the French one.
It's
It has the Izza.
De Rossi. Is it him? I'm
Yeah, De Rossi, Peppino De Rossi.
De Rosso is French.
Rousseau.
De Rossi is Italian.
Oh, I'm a.
This is the inspector.
I'm a stupid.
Oh, I didn't even. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary.
Mr. Zato, I only have one thing to say. Got him.
Well done, Mr. Naruto.
On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi in the park.
Was you disguised as the inspector?
What? Cosimo, you
Oh.
stole my thunder. That was quite rude, actually.
Well, you interrupted me earlier, so fair's fair.
But I was the one who came to the conclusion.
Or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all?
I mean, there's no photograph on the ID card, so.
No.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think he's going to have that voice anymore.
I don't see what I mean. He might do, or
Mr.
maybe it's a bit better now. I don't know. I'll think of something. We'll see.
Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Berkeley Prison.
The chief warder?
The chief warder.
The chief warder?
The chief warder.
The chief warder?
The chief warder.
Mr. Naruto, Mr. Judge.
Chief Ward.
Will you snap out of it?
Then your career had promise. Why would you quite possibly have become the future?
Why you would?
Why you would have? You go away? Why you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison.
10 years?
10 years.
I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am daily vigil.
And you were the chief warder at Berkeley Prison 10 years ago?
Every time I see Barclay, I think of the bank. Every
Yeah,
single
Barclays,
time I see it, I
yeah.
see Barclays.
So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from?
Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become.
Oof.
Wretched. And you see, that's how it is, you see. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Berkeley's chief warder came to an end. Got a different tune and everything. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation, one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this.
Well,
She still maintains that you were the chief warder at Berkeley Prison.
yeah, well, I mean, she's not even heard this voice either. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yep, that's the one. Yes, that's right. The lip in the,
The
shadow,
lip.
for God's sake. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler. And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before. Let me say again. And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine.
His daily routine? Oh.
I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it.
But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place?
I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them.
So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them?
Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything.
Yes.
Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6p apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
Was he selling secrets to people then?
Maybe.
Yes, about that. It was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
Yeah! What?
It's almost like I can hear him in the room.
Inspector Gregson? What on earth?
It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognised me one day. Obviously my disguise wasn't that good, eh?
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with an increasing regularity. I think he was giving, oh my gosh, Iris's,
Oh, royalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
Oh.
A secret? What was it?
Well, it wouldn't be much of a secret if I told you, would it? Oh, but I suppose I am in court. I was to impersonate the inspector.
He really is just JoJo posing over here.
What? Impersonate him?
That's what I said. We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me.
Visit Orxys tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress.
Proprietress. Very good. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My introductions were to make
Instructions.
My instructions, which I can read, I swear. My instructions were to make an impression, as well as my introductions, I'll have you know, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. He paid top dollar. Not that I know what a dollar is.
The Scottish Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offence.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him?
I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever! Even if, well, if I end up a croaker.
Oof.
Oof.
He even had some idea it might happen. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him.
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really...
Well, I think we know this, but okay. Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Done.
Well, eesh.
Don't really like the atmosphere in this courtroom right now. Hello?
Mon Dieu.
Awfully quiet in here. Oh, that was an awkward silence.
Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case.
Oops.
What?
But does it destroy the defense's case?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yes, unfortunately, we must find out next time.
Ah!
But if you do enjoy watching our silly shenanigans, then please consider giving us a little old like, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and you'll be notified of our video uploads every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And until next time, we'll see you again.
Let's catch you in the next one, everybody.
And remember, if you're going to go to London, make sure you take your airborne or whatever else. Otherwise, you too might end up like Cold Taylor.